Grabbing mess with your friends. Good for you.
KLON, Los Angeles. Clone Radio. We play the songs that sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Clone.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper, Clone Radio, LA's Infinite Repeat. How we feeling out there? How's your drive time commute? I need a saga. What's the saga? It's songs for the deaf. You can't even hear it.
Sorry, I was eating Shreddies. Hang on, let me pull this up. Hopefully my computer doesn't freak the fuck out like it was. Though I'll be honest, I'm expecting it to. I don't see why restarting it would have changed anything. I don't have any health items. Hopefully I don't fall off and die. It'll be fine.
Yes, what is it?
I'm ready now. Let's contact Archer.
Very good. If you'll help me with some of this equipment then.
Back across the water lab. At least we are getting our exercise in today.
If you'll please carry that amplifier, officer. And if you'll take that spool of cable, we should be able to move it all in one trip.
Fans are going crazy again. I don't mean in the chat, I mean inside my computer case.
And now if you'll just connect that here...
It's done. I believe we are ready.
The lieutenant wipes his brow.
We're ready to try at least. Please put on these headphones. There should be 2 extra sets. I've configured the channels so that only your microphone is set to broadcast, officer. We'll all be able to listen, but anyone we reach will only hear your voice.
Thank you, Java Update. I really needed you to chime in right now. Appreciate you. That was a lie. I really don't appreciate the Java Update chiming in whatsoever. Between you, that's yours and my little secret, okay? Don't tell Java. I don't need Java hitting me with the chain again. Fuck's sake.
You will need to transmit your connection request while I attempt to locate the warship's public frequency. You will likely encounter some interference, but it's important to keep transmitting your request until you're acknowledged. Ready?
Yes.
Good. Beginning transmission.
A soft rustling. Between your ears, a winterscape with fast falling snow.
Where's the sound coming from?
Every light switch, every motor carriage, every doorbell, tea kettle, and radio in Martinez, all mingled with electrical interference caused by scattered thunderstorms over Ozone.
Officer? Are you in order? We're waiting for you to start.
Coalition Warship Archer. This is Lieutenant Harriet Dubois of the RCM. Please acknowledge.
Is there anybody there? The lieutenant looks up at you with a nervous glance. Nervous for who, though? You cannot say.
Try again, officer.
Coalition Warship Archer. This is Lieutenant Dubois. Please acknowledge.
Perhaps you're simply imagining it, but it seems as though you're learning to pull apart the fibers of this auditory felt. You focus on one strand in particular, one that sounds very nearly human.
Nein, Liebling, das lasse ich nicht zu. Wie kannst du unseren Jungen bloß auf einen dieser Dinger nach Bredefort schicken?
Hallo, Archer, do you acknowledge?
Marianne, mir erzählt, dass Oscar nicht mehr, seit er auf einem Luftschiff aus Graz zurückgekommen ist. Halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal. Aber sie hat das Gefühl, seit seiner Rückkehr mit einem Fremden zusammenzuleben.
You can't make out a word of this gibberish.
What does this remind me of?
The rustling of dry autumn leaves, waves breaking at a distance, 1,000 wings beating at once.
Liebling, bitte. Er ist unser einziges Kind. Er kann doch auch nächstes Jahr zur Akademie gehen.
Keep trying, officer. We'll get a signal through eventually.
Coalition Warship Archer, this is Lieutenant Dubois. If you're there, Archer, please acknowledge.
Again?
Coalition Warship Archer, this is Lieutenant Dubois. Do you acknowledge?
It's calm now.
A slight frisson at the point where your neck meets your spine. Something about the lieutenant's words directed at you, but not you.
Kim, don't clog my connection.
I didn't say anything, Detective.
Someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
An uncomfortable silence falls over the connection.
It's been a long winter. Long and cold.
Maybe it's your twin brother?
I can assure you it's not my twin brother, though it certainly does sound like me.
The lieutenant seems to wince at the sound of his own voice. What is happening?
I can't say with certainty, but it sounds very much like entroponetic crosstalk. It happens sometimes when sending transmissions across long stretches of pale.
Ah, yes, of course. That must be it.
Outwardly, they both exude calm, but there's something disturbing about this thought to both of them.
Natürlich halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal.
So, what can we do about it?
What else is there to do? Keep trying.
Coalition Warship Archer, do you acknowledge this is Lieutenant Dubois?
But someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Dubois, please acknowledge.
Archer, this is Lieutenant Dubois. Can you hear me?
Liebling, bitte. Ist unser einziges Kind.
Warship Archer, please identify.
The signals are getting increasingly mixed. Plucking Archer's signal from this will be like isolating a single strand from a tangle of hair.
It's not working. The crosstalk is simply too strong.
What can we do?
I did not expect simply locating the signal to be so difficult.
She appears to be concentrating very intently.
We must consider several variables. Local entroponetic conditions, the sophistication of our transceiver, the quality of our connections, and the physics of our antenna itself. Our transceiver is perfectly capable, so there is no problem there. And we're also unlikely to change our local anthroponetic conditions. So, the next step is to thoroughly inspect our connections.
How am I supposed to inspect the connections?
You need to climb up there and look at them for yourself.
She stares at you as though it were obvious. Her hand gestures to the colourful cables dangling from the horse's forehooves.
Someone has been maintaining it.
Come on, son. This isn't anything but a common high bar. Just get a solid overhand grip and hoist yourself up.
Okay. Let's do this. I believe.
Your gloves give you a solid grip on the metal bar. This feels pleasingly familiar. Keep it together, champ. You've got this.
Climb neck, greasy horse. I've seen this go wrong twice now. I've attempted to compensate this time, not only with amphetamines, which I failed to do the first time, but also now with 2 points
Before
into
you know it,
interfacing.
you're safely perched atop the monument.
And I want to clarify, I'm not reattempting this because it failed, I'm reattempting it because scripting with missions in the game failed that forced me to reload a save. Did you see that bar work?
Yes, you're a natural gymnast, detective. Now, would you like to do what you got up there to do?
Let me get a look at this.
The connection itself is nothing more than a little braid of exposed wire wrapped about the hoof of the horse. A copper fetter, it cannot slip. The whole monument is covered in a thin but durable layer of oil and grime. It's obvious no one has cleaned it in years.
And pour some alcohol over the connections.
It takes a few moments, but the alcohol gradually begins to break down the oils surrounding the copper wiring.
Is this really the time, detective?
It's all right, Lieutenant. He's simply cleaning the connections.
More than that, you're sacrificing something precious on the altar. Once the oils have been dissolved, you wipe off the connections with your sleeve and reattach the cable.
Did I help?
It seems to have made some difference, but unfortunately not enough to alter the overall situation. Unser einziges Kind. Kann auch nächstes Jahr zur Akademie gehen. Short of changing the shape of the antenna, I'm not sure what else we can do from here. And the lorries are all jammed together, so that's unlikely to happen.
How do we change the shape of the antenna?
What do you mean? You adjust the antenna manually, with your hand.
What's that gonna do?
Ideally, narrow the receiving mode so that we can isolate the warship signal and eliminate the crosstalk. And if you don't know what you're doing, of course you could just make it worse. I'm afraid we're out of alternatives. You're just going to have to go for it.
She's right. The responsibility is yours, and yours alone. There's no turning back now.
Look at Philip III.
You are face to face with Philip III. The Bronze King looks toward the west. Something about his features seems bizarrely distorted.
Look at the horse.
This faithful steed is in nearly as poor a condition as its rider.
Look up.
A clear night sky. The stars make for a brilliant display. Across the river, you can see the lights of Coalition warship Archer floating above Revachol East.
Look down.
A few of the idle lorry drivers and strikebreakers gesture at you with their cigarettes, more out of curiosity than anything else. From the window of one of the adjacent apartment buildings, an older woman leans out, her heavy breasts sagging. She yells a single word you can't make out, and then shuts the window with a violent thunk.
Well, it's time to attempt to narrow the receiving mode manually. Oh my god, thank fuck. I deserve it after all of the shit that I've been through, I swear to God.
Your grip is firm, yet controlled. The swelling in your headset guides your hands as much as your hands guide the bronze horse head. It's almost like you're hearing through the horse itself.
That's very good. Just a bit more to the left. Nein, Liebling.
The signal is clear. The storm has passed. This is another voice, a live voice on the other end of this invisible bridge you've established.
Try it now, officer.
Coalition Warship Archer, this is Lieutenant Dubois of the RCM. Please acknowledge.
Lieutenant Dubois, this is Coalition Warship Archer. We are acknowledging and accepting you.
Aha! Excellent! You are connected. Now be quick. I don't know how long I'll be able to preserve the signal.
There is so much you wish you could ask. Your efforts have bought you some time, but you can't forget what you're really here for.
Please be advised that you are speaking on a public frequency. What is your request?
Okay, I wonder how much time I actually do have here on account of this. Versus the previous situation that I ended up with. Who am I speaking with?
You are currently speaking with Coalition Warship Archer, flagship of Insurcom forces in Revachol.
Whoa, the Coalition. Are you the captain?
No, the captain of the Archer is deeply classified intelligence. We are the second signaler.
Sure, but who are you? I need to know your name.
Our name is not important. All you need to know is that we hold the position of second signaler aboard the Archer.
You really don't have the faintest guess what her name could be. You were never very good at this sort of thing.
That's not true. I've been quite inland empirical the entire time. Wait, no, that's not true. That's my other playthrough. Yeah, he's correct. What's it like being a second signaler?
It's a great honor and responsibility. In addition to monitoring public frequencies, we are tasked with maintaining some of the most sensitive communication equipment aboard the Archer.
Do you believe in the mission?
Yes, of course. There is no higher calling than serving humanity.
What does the moral intern really want?
A very important question, with a very simple answer. We want humanity to endure. Beyond that, it may be said that we are the inheritors and stewards of Dolores Day's legacy.
Dolores Day. So beautiful.
Right, and that legacy is?
Immense. The role of the Moralist
Oops.
International is twofold. To buy humanity sufficient time to perfect itself, and to patiently guide it along the road while protecting it from ideological highwaymen and eschatologists.
We at least did pick that same option before. Accidentally slipped and hit the spacebar. Heavily prematurely. I did get these answers earlier. I don't know if re-unlocking them is going to actually help. Because I technically know the stuff. I don't know if it gives me experience or then leads to thoughts. And I don't know how much time I have, and it is heading up on 2 a.m. and I'm a little bit concerned that maybe when it hits 2 a.m. it's just going to cut me off anyway because time seems to stop moving then. But the flip side of that is that there's a chance that maybe we just get this conversation for free on account of starting it late. I'm really not sure. I'm going to lean into that, hopefully. As in, with hope. What is this balance of terror theory?
It's an elegant idea, one of the cornerstones of the modern era. In short, it holds that durable, lasting peace is possible when the major powers are capable of inflicting unacceptable and irreversible destruction upon one another. Because no rational state is willing to accept the risk of such a calamity befalling its own people. All powers are incentivized to de-escalate conflicts before they reach the point of no return.
But what if states aren't rational?
A state is like any other living thing. It wants to survive and grow. A state that doesn't value its own existence is not a state at all.
Who are the highwaymen and eschatologians you mentioned?
There are many. The communists say they are the next dialectical step in an inexorable spiral of progress. They claim to have resolved the inherent contradictions of moralism and believe they're just one revolution away from establishing a humanist paradise. The fascists say they are both the ancestors of and the successors to Deloreanism. In other words, they believe that Dolores Day's reign simply represents a glorious phase of expansion within a greater Franco-Nigerian heritage. They criticize the DeLorean project for accepting and integrating new peoples rather than forcefully subjugating them. And then, there are our prodigal cousins, the Vazan Social Democrats, who hold our same values and have even adopted many of our same rights and iconography, though they persist in rejecting the umbrella of moralism.
Are there non-ideological threats to humanity's future?
Yes. Atomic war, environmental degradation, resource exhaustion, viral pandemic, supervolcanism, runaway anthropogenetic collapse. This is why it is critical for the international community to work toward peace and cooperation between nations. There's simply too much at stake.
What does the RCM fit into all of this?
The RCM exists under the umbrella of the coalition, just as the coalition exists under the umbrella of the morally internal. At the same time, the RCM is not exactly of the coalition.
What do you mean it's not of the coalition?
It's our understanding that the RCM's organizational structure predates the coalition. We believe it may even be modeled after the communal brigades themselves.
There is some truth to that.
But in a practical sense, it's the responsibility of the ethics divisions to ensure that both organizations are working toward the same ends.
So you're saying the RCM is a vestige of Revishol's communist past?
One now, committed to upholding moralist values. Strange, isn't it? History is a river coursing ever downward. Occasionally, its course is redirected in mysterious and unexpected ways.
In what sense is the moral intern the steward of Dolores Day's legacy?
It was established by many of the same founding party members who elected Dolores Day, and who, after her assassination, dedicated their lives to the continuation of her political and intellectual project.
Okay, what awaits us at the end of the road?
Let us answer your question with a question. Have you ever seen evening fall over the old town of Vesperashi?
No, I haven't.
The heart of the city, the old town, is a district composed of weathered marble, comprising thousands of columns and arcades arranged around a series of grand plazas. During the day, it's a beautiful sight, equal to any of the great cities of Pericarnassus. But as the sun sets, the shadows cast by those columns and arcades weave together to form an intricate ombre and lattice. When you see it, you suddenly understand. It was all built for you, for this very moment.
Built for me?
For you, for all of humanity. Not only that, but you are also part of that centuries-long plan. When you cross one of the open plazas, your own shadows is effortlessly woven into the great lattice work, a deliberate synthesis of humanity, art, and the natural world.
Beautiful.
Yes, it is. We grew up there. We have seen the lattice with our own eyes.
Where is Advesperatchet exactly?
In Messina, of course. Not only was it the site of Dolores Day's crowning, it was also one of the great cities of the Dolorian era, a glorious expression of humanity's highest potential. Of course, such a city does not spring from nowhere, nor does it endure without effort. Its construction was the work of many generations, and its preservation is an equally monumental responsibility.
There's a word at the tip of your tongue. A name. Egret. Don't ask us what it means. We're not sure.
How much time does humanity need to achieve its potential?
About 3,000 years.
She really had that on the tip of her tongue. It's like she has the timeline laid out right in front of her.
That sounds like a very long time.
It does, doesn't it? And yet, there remains a great deal to be done in that span.
Liebling, bitte. Ist unser einziges Kind.
Time is running short, officer. I estimate you have time for maybe 2 more questions.
Come again? We're picking up more interference.
Fuck. I mean, already went through an amount of this before. All of them, in fact, so I should probably just proceed with it. Listen, I really need to reach the Committee of Responsibility.
Acknowledged. To reach the committee, all you need to do is fill out the appropriate request form and submit it to the Liaison for Public Affairs. If the liaison accepts your request, you will be invited to address the committee at their next quarterly public hearing. We believe the next hearing is scheduled for July.
She's got to be jerking your chain, right? You can't wait that long.
I mean, I want to try. I want to try and convince her that I need to address the committee. But it doesn't look good.
What part of need to reach the committee doesn't she understand? Time to lay it all out.
You aren't listening. I've got an urgent personal matter to discuss with the committee.
We will hear your request, Lieutenant Dubois. Although we must inform you that the committee does not typically intervene in personal matters.
That's only because they haven't heard about your problems yet.
The thing is, I can't remember anything.
So, you're experiencing acute memory loss. We don't see how this is the committee's business.
Oh, God, here we go.
I'm pretty sure it has to do with something I lost.
We're afraid we don't understand at all. What does this something have to do with your lost memory?
I had it, but now I don't, and I don't know what to do about it.
We are sorry to hear of your loss, but personal tragedy is quite beyond the purview of the committee of responsibility. Now, please excuse us while we update the receiving frequency. This connection will be cleared in 4, 3...
She can't treat you that way. Let her know what you really think of her. Quick, hang up on her first.
No, please don't go.
2, 1... Après le monde, le gris.
And the line goes quiet. The lieutenant gives a long sigh as he removes his headphones. He looks up at you.
That went worse than when the fucking head came off. What the fuck?
I think it's best for you to climb off the statue now, Detective. Your real work is done here.
Just give me a minute.
There's a damp cold running up the insides of your thighs. Your legs have grown stiff. You've been up here quite a while. You look around. Most everyone has already gone home for the night. It's really just you, the lieutenant, and the programmer left. There's really no point. You're beginning to feel like the little child who refuses to come down off the carousel.
Good. Now give me a hand with these amplifiers. Leave the cables. I don't feel like making 2 trips.
What's one more trip across the waterlock?
Well, that was disappointing. At least the head stayed on the statue. Although we ended up exploring even less dialogue than before. Because she still chimed in and it seemed like I didn't even have any more time than I did previously, so...
Well, this was an interesting collaboration.
Yeah, it was 2 times ago. I'm a little through with it now, I'll be honest, Shona, but you know, we make a pretty good team.
Really? I do not think we were all that successful. But maybe the RCM has a different definition of success.
Wow, thank you. I needed to hear that.
In any event, just leave that equipment here. I'll put it away later. If you'd like, you can take one of the extra headsets. I don't need so many spares. Now, you'll excuse me. I have to get back to my own work.
Fuck your own work. Yeah, that's right, I said it. I've had it up to here with the disrespect. I knocked her head off twice by pure accident. She was fucking horrible both times. I managed to rewire it so it worked. She didn't give me any credit for it, and then she didn't seem to give me any more time for it either. It's actually just insulting. Fuck them all. Hardy went to bed. I don't know who else is up in the village to ask about Ruby. So I think we're all done here. 2:11, I didn't think it could go past 2. Wait, no, now I'm genuinely really confused. Last time it froze at 2 permanently and I couldn't do anything to pass time. Every other day it's frozen at 2. What the hell? It's not even allowed to be this time. I don't understand. Genuinely, time doesn't advance past 2, or at least it hasn't for me before. Alright, well, I guess we'll see what reading some of these case files does.
And an incredible arson, petty theft, spousal abuse. Handwritten logs on dozens of investigations date back to January 51. Stamped case files, commit to paper. These are your last couple of months in Revachol, Precinct 41, Jamrock Quarter.
Kim, all my cases employ naming conventions similar to what we used on ours.
Yes, how very childish of you. In your and my defense, almost everyone in the RCM uses the titular system, in addition to the official alphanumeric.
Why is that?
It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Officers use these titles to refer to their work among themselves.
I seem to have named a case the Square Bullet Hole Murders.
Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. That was a real person. His death was real. Still, I named it that, to amuse myself. I pray his loved ones never find out.
What happened to him?
Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
That amused you? Kim.
You don't exactly close them. It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want?
The unsolvable case.
AKA Leslie and Burke. AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable. You were so drunk, you didn't remember what it was when you signed on. That or you were high. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop displaying his genitals and for Burke to stop attacking things would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability. Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street. Because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Leslie is indecent.
Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. You're drunk out of your mind on potent Pilsner. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face. Then you proceed to beat him unconscious with it. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. Kill them. They broke it. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore. Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows? But both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved. Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
I want to know why I didn't take extreme morale damage. What the fuck? Oh well. Squad bullet hole murders.
It would be very interesting to read about these, wouldn't it? I mean, there seems to be a square-shaped entry wound in the victim's forehead. She's been sitting there for weeks, on her rocking chair, with a square hole in her skull, staring at the wall, her mouth agape.
But?
That's all you got. From the half hour you spent piecing it together, all you know is the entry wound was square-shaped. You never found the bullet. And then another body showed up, also with a square hole in his forehead. Toxicology showed the entry wound was laced with an incredibly potent psychoactive substance called HUV4-nil. No street name.
A sequence killer?
Who knows? Those pages are missing. What next? Don't worry. One day.
Can't help but notice that time has indeed ceased to pass. I don't think it was meant to go past 2 a.m. I guess it's just allowed to be carried any amount beyond that by, so if it's at like 159, you could probably do something that'd take half an hour. It'd take you to like 229, and then it wouldn't move. I presume is how it works. Murder at the hookah parlor.
Murder. Tum 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 at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joseph Mills, who is now dead, of circumstances completely unconnected to murder at the hookah parlor.
Wait, how?
Beaten to death by a throng of Villalobos gang members when him and his partner J.M., only initials mentioned, answered a call one night. It's a sad story, and it isn't really represented in your case files. Stop stalling and get to the murder at the hookah parlor.
Right, on with the murder.
Joseph Mills was on this case that he just couldn't solve, was doing it solo, said it was a real nutcracker, a real brain twister, was on it for, like, a month. The captain got impatient. Shit or get off the pot, Mills. Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains, running with every theory, as outlandish as they seemed. Still couldn't solve the murder at the hookah parlor. Tough case, he said. Toughest he's ever had.
Wait, was Joseph Mills a good cop?
No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Really rapey. Still, he'd been on it for months now. Said it was the final case. Said it was uncrackable. That murderer vanished into thin air. That goddamn hookah parlor was all he talked about. Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. A young man is found dead in a hookah parlor. You know, those places where you go and smoke bubblegum-flavored vapor all day.
Can you get high off it?
No, it's soot and water vapor. It doesn't do anything.
Really stupid.
Yeah, so anyway, young man in his 20s found with his skull busted open, right on the floor of the hookah parlor, in the middle of the day. No one else is in there, only client that day. In perfect health, too. Some kind of movie producer. No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon, like he usually does. He's a regular. No calls, nothing, just sucking on the hookah until 15:45. Then bam, he's dead on the floor with his skull busted open, blood everywhere. What happened? How can it be? Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin, movie deal gone sour. Girl at the counter did it. Nothing fits. Eerie. Man just dropped dead. So you go to the parlor. You see cushions around the table. Tables low, heavy, really sharp edge.
He sucked hookah, stood up, passed out, hit his head on the table, and died?
See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. It turns off your brain's oxygen supply, and you don't notice it until you get up to go to the bathroom.
And what was he doing for 6 hours?
Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a movie script, maybe. Anyway, that was murder at the hookah parlor. Joseph Mills wasn't a good detective, and about 30 minutes has passed piecing it together. Next.
No, it hasn't, damaged Ledger. No time has passed whatsoever since I opened you. In fact, I opened you specifically to experiment with the fabric of time. And I confirmed my suspicion that it had stopped moving entirely. And that means I win.
Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on it.
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Well, despite putting 2 skill points into it to make sure that we passed the check, when building the antenna, passing the check was not particularly beneficial. So that's not great.
You pick up the handset.
But we've completed
There's
the
a tone.
quest at least.
The machine is operable.
More numbers.
Calling.
I'm tired.
A man answers, fast this time. His voice is hoarse from cigarettes. You hear typing in the background.
Sounds like he hasn't talked to anyone in quite a while.
I'm tired too.
If I could go just 1 month without writing, no, 2 months, I could regenerate my brain. Fucking liberalism.
The man disappears with a sigh. You do not hear the customary disconnect tone, just silence in the handset. The machine is still waiting for you to dial a number. Lucky you, the call went too fast for the payphone to register. You can still make a new one without paying.
Well, I guess this at least is a wonderfully fortunate extra use of the interfacing points that we spent to get not much more information, in fact less information out of the warship Archer than we previously had when failing it. So that's nice. I hope we don't fail this, that would be phenomenally upsetting.
You close your eyes and put your index finger on the rotary dial, then pull down on the number, then move one up, and repeat the motion, twice. Strange. This is not how you started before.
Wait, what did I just do?
You dialed 001. This is not the area code of Revachol. It is another destination on another Isola, some far-off nation-state. 414447. The rotary dial feels cold from the sea air. 1117361. Your fingers keep moving like a spider. Every time the ring rotates back with a little ring of metal, like a bell tolling.
There's more?
Yes. 451-67451. You are going deeper now, into some unknown place, far away from this island of matter and its telecommunication networks.
Finish it.
451. You have dialed God knows how many numbers. The headset has been waiting silently to relay a signal. Surely nothing can come of this, you think. But it does. A connection. An ultra-long distance call. Your air fills with a crackle, the wash of a strange ocean full of white noise. A little bird starts ringing in there, not like the local calling tone before. No, a small ring in a cage of distortion, far away. A distant network of phones. Calling. Calling in the night. The saddest sound in the world. Both pitiful and terrifying. You feel your pulse rising with each ring. Calling still. Ringing by the bedside of a dark but capacious apartment with long windows. You know this to be true. The handset starts slipping from your sweaty palm. Your breathing is heavy.
Long windows, how do I know that?
You just do. And you know it is going to hurt.
Kim.
The lieutenant is too far away to hear your yelp. The sea wind blows.
Let it call.
Calling. 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 Calling still. Then the ocean breaks. Out of the depths, a woman's voice emerges. Small. The dearest thing you've ever heard.
Hello?
She sounds sleepy.
Oh no. Is that you?
Her voice sounds like she's waking up now, still plaintive, tired. Who is this?
Dora. Who is this? The connection is bad.
Dora. The name feels like a gift. A gift that was meant for you, to make it possible to live. And fight. In the distorted distance, you hear someone turning next to her. Bed springs rattle. Don't react. Whatever you do, don't react to that last thing. It doesn't matter if you react or not. You still think you hear a man's voice in the background. It's covered in pain and white noise.
Hello. She hums, her voice warm from sleep.
Who is this?
Your voice is so beautiful.
No. It's you, isn't it? It's you.
I'm a revolutionary servant of humanity. I will free mankind and abolish the classes. I will raise the dead.
You're not a revolutionary, Harry. You're drunk.
How do you know my name?
Because it's me. Look, I don't understand what you're saying or why you're calling me. You seem drunk.
Okay, I'm drunk. What does it matter? I'm still me.
Oh, God.
Hey.
Do you know what time it is? It's so late here.
Sounds like she's looking for a clock on the nightstand.
It's 4 o'clock, Harry. I need to wake up in 2 hours.
Where are you? You sound like you're in another world.
I'm in Morova, sleeping.
Where are you going in 2 hours?
To work.
Where?
The academy, where I work.
The German language was talking about a child going to the academy next year. I definitely picked out the word academy. I'm sure it's come up separately as well in the English language, but what if it came up in another language entirely? Sorry. God, I don't know. I really was not fucking expecting this. My job is sad and terrible. It has dead bodies in it.
No response, only a sigh. The connection crackles like burning paper.
I want to talk about me. Who am I? You sound like you know me.
What do you want to talk about that we haven't talked about already?
This is bad. You feel your right hand on the handset cramping up with pain.
My heart hurts. I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Oh no. Please stop. Please, let's just hang up.
Do you want a party?
No. I want to go to sleep.
Is someone there with you?
Yes.
I'm the law. I'm a detective. I'm doing a case. There's a hanged man.
She does not answer anymore.
None of it matters. Not anymore.
Harry.
Disconnect tone. The machine ran out of money. Run. To the church. Home. Anywhere but here. Anything but calling her again.
It's really tempting. but I used all the dialogue. So that's my ex-wife. I presume. Or at least my ex something. Her name is Dora, which... It said Dora, right? Which is unavoidably... It sounds like Dolores Day. You know, there's a lot of commonality between those names. Which I presume is intentional, even if not an actual detail that's intended to be a hard fact about the character's background, though I'm not convinced anything is necessarily meant to be a hard fact about the character's background, really. I'm not gonna call again. I wish Kim had something to say about that. Could really use some moral support. Oh well. Egghead'll give me moral support. Hell yeah.
Good morning, comrade! Yeah! Harder car!
The words echo magnificently throughout the nave. I've thought about the discarded melody and came to the conclusion that Van Eyck has lived around here.
J'adore! God is close by, but maybe he doesn't have good enough ears. Let me turn it up so we can lure him here.
Buzz. Alright, goodbye, Egghead. He did his job.
The mother of humanism stands above you, a precious and complex nothing. Just the edge of the crack sparkles in the dark.
I could at least have dressed for it first, but fuck it. Not respawning the scarf and shoes anymore. Fair enough.
Wait, what? I'm just goofing. New boot goofing. Oh!
I achieved perfect gyrational flawlessness. For a while, that was just perpetual spinning. That was gorgeous.
Yo, man. What's on your mind?
Nothing, Lloyd. Take care.
Hardcore.
Have you seen a red-haired woman around?
No.
Just no?
It's pretty desolate here. I only hear the dogs bark at night and see the shadows move down the coast.
That's good. No neighbours to complain about noise when you get the club going.
Exactly. It's our chance to turn the grim desolation into an overwhelmingly fun dance party.
Hell yeah. Excuse me, I need to go and put on my most empathetic clothing. Where is it though? Oh no, I'm wearing it, aren't I? Yep, yes I am. That's awkward. 5 uses left. Okay, that's fine. I don't worry about that at all. Just gotta jamrock shuffle it till it works. I'm gonna die. Shit. And that barely helped at all.
The device feels light. An angular Omicron logo adorns the yellow plastic cover. Underneath you see a reel of tape rolling. You put the device back on the floor.
Ah well. See you. That's awkward. What about you, Andre?
Oh, the god of dance is back! Goodbye, officer.
Where's the crab man? Has he just disappeared now? I mean, I presume he's meant to be up there, but I haven't seen him in a while. Woo, 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 woo. The hanged man's back. Why am I being haunted by this dude? I don't understand. He's been gone for ages. He's gone again. What the fuck? I don't like it. It's freaky. Nice rain noise though. Where am I going? Okay, so obviously that's closed. It's 2:11 AM. Yo, Van Eyck on the bench. Etched into the wood, barely visible. Remember the rest is lost to time. Yeah, that's remember the 53 Van Eyck tour. You can't fool me. Why am I only running when I'm using WASD? Why is double clicking not doing it? But single clicking is? What the fuck? Everything's dual alley, it's all gone backwards. I don't understand. Anyway, we made up what we needed to make up. I'm gonna make the necessary saves, etc. But yeah, we've done everything now. We can finally move on with our lives a bit. We got the gun back off the pigs. We're gonna have to hope the stuff works with Titus tomorrow and that we can meet with Ruby and everything, because I was really hoping to get that done on this day, but it didn't seem to want to work. But yeah, you know. Our responsibility has happened. So it's all good. Third time was indeed the charm. Not that it went very well. But it's done. We crossed it off. It's taken out of the log. That counts as progress. I'm gonna head off. I hope you're doing okay. I'll be back soon. Monday at the latest. Look after yourself.